I don't know if we were short of string, we'd probably just call it and go home and have donuts. So works out either way. Good morning, everybody. My name is Tiffany. I'm going to be your host for the next hour or so. Yay! And when I was offered this gig, I don't want to say I took it to get my husband to come to church, but my husband came to church. So before we get started, I want to ask everyone to silence their cell phones, please. I'm notoriously bad at this, so I want to make sure and say that. I think I silenced all of mine before I came up here. So, also, we want to start every service with me finding the clicker and acknowledging the ancestral lands on which we meet. The Eureka Center for Spiritual Living acknowledges that the land on which we gather is the ancestral territory of the Wiyot peoples. This territory extends to the communities throughout most of Humboldt County, and we honor the Wiyot peoples today. Ho. So we're going to start with a song today, so I'm going to go ahead and bring Donna up for that.
Stand if you wish, because it's a rocker. Sort of. Let's all stare at them until I'm stepping out into a world of possibility. I'm stepping out into a whole new way to live. So much waiting for me. The path is clear before me. I've got so much that I have yet to live. I'm stepping out and I'm committed to integrity. I'm stepping out, releasing every fear and doubt. The road just keeps on turning, and every turn I'm learning what this life is all about. I'm stepping out from the top. I'm stepping out in my world of possibility. I'm stepping out into a whole new way to live. There's so much waiting for me. The path is clear before me. I've got so much that I have yet to live. I'm stepping out
to welcome you here today. Whether you've been here every week for the last 20 years or this is your first time at our center, we're so glad to have you. And we hope you find something here that really speaks to you spiritually and enriches your week and your day. This is my first time doing this, and so I wanted to do some things to prepare. So I watched some Zoom recordings on YouTube of prior services. I tried to memorize some of Scott's jokes, not all of them. I did not learn any messages because I thought that was overstepping, right? We can agree one message per service is probably enough. I wore a shiny necklace, as one does, right? Yeah. That was a heavy lift. I haven't worn a shiny necklace in a long time. And I took some notes. So we are at the Eureka Center for Spiritual Living. So long as I don't touch my face and get black Sharpie all over it, we're good. So I want to go ahead and lead you through a few of the announcements and the things that we have going on this week. Oh, I'm so sorry. This is more important. Here we go. All right, so this one, we always try and jazz this up, right? And so last week, Scott had everybody stand up and try and say hi to somebody that you hadn't met before. I would really love it if you could do that again. There's something about the energy of moving a little bit in the morning that is pretty awesome. So let's say this first part together and then turn to someone and say the last part. We are a welcoming community where the vibration of love lifts us, the wisdom of the ages inspires us, and the science of mind teaching empowers us. All right, find somebody. Thank you.
Also, is in your face. So when the zooming thing is on, all this is light show.
Gotcha.
Vanity should give you inspiration. Good morning. Tiffany?
Thank you. I know, it's so great. I know, yeah. As Brian just brought to my attention, I think you all did an excellent job of running amok this morning, and that was the assignment, so good on you. So here are all the different things that are going on this week. So it's quite a week. I mean, it's February, and we're already off to a rollicking start this year. So I want to highlight a few things for you. For example, this Wednesday at 4 o'clock, we are going bowling again. Yes. A lot of people have really wanted to do this again, and so thank you, Rose, for getting this back on the schedule. So this is part of our Better Together social club. And so everyone is welcome. You don't have to join. There are no initiation fees. You just show up and bowl your little heart out. So I'm going to bring Reverend Angelica up because we have a new class that's starting.
So I have really enjoyed being able to have a partner to talk to when I get wound up and go down the rabbit hole. I either text or call Scott and go, "Did you hear?" And he goes, "Yeah, did you hear?" And so we've done this thing. And what I realized in doing this is that there's an energy that builds up. Remember, I'm the energy woman. There's the energy that builds up within us that doesn't necessarily get released if we don't have an avenue to release it. So we've decided to create a group. This is not a class. It will be an ongoing Thursday morning group at 10 o'clock called Brave Vulnerable Conversations. Now, you might recognize that phrase from our statement of inclusion that we read at the end of the service. So, and of course, Scott did his beautiful artwork in creating this slide. So beginning March 6th, our class that we've been doing on grief ends this week. And then March 6th, we'll be starting this group. It's a drop-in thing. And it doesn't need to be talking about just political stuff or what's happening in the world or whatever. It could be, you know, I've said this before, we all have the same stories, we're just expressing them in different ways. But if you feel the need to talk, this will be a circle that has no judgment and is totally confidential. So there you go, something new.
Thank you, Reverend Angelica. So one of the big events that we do every year is the plant sale. And sometimes it's part of the Twice Nice sale, and sometimes it's a standalone event. And this year it's a standalone event. And believe it or not, it's just a little over a month away. Yeah, I know, right? It'll be here before we know it. So it's on April 4th and 6th, 4th and 5th, from 9 a.m. until 2. Lori is not here today. She's joining us on Zoom. Hey, Lori. And so anyway, she has put a lot of work into this, as have a lot of people. And so we're really excited about this event. It looks like it's going to be awesome. So please join us for that. And there will be plenty of ways to help out in between now and then and at the actual event. So coming up this summer in August is the convention for the Centers for Spiritual Living. This year it is in Banff. Is that how you say it? I don't know, I see a double F and I get excited. In Canada. And so, like I said, it's the beginning of August, and there's a lot of information available online about it, and registration is open now. Our little pantry is always looking to be fed. It's in the other room.
It's really hungry right now.
It is starving. I can hear its stomach gurgling from here. So if next time you go to the grocery store, you could pick up a few things for it. We like things that are non-perishable. We like individual servings of things, and we're really into pop-top cans. They just light us up. So our theme for this month is mapping your path. Turn page. And we are going to have another song led by Donna.
This is more contemplative. Open my eyes that I may see fullness of truth thou hast for me. Place in my hand the wonderful key that hope shall unclasp and set me free. Silently now I wait for thee. Ready, my God, thy will to see. Open my eyes, illumine me. Spirit divine, my eyes are open now. I see fullness of truth thou hast for me. My hands now hold the wonderful key that opens the door and sets me free. Joyously now I work with thee. will to see. My eyes are open, now I see. Spirit divine.
Oh, I'm doing the moment of peace. I'm not in announcement mode today. Good morning. I'm Scott. I'm going to lead us in the moment of peace, what used to be also called the contemplative meditation. And the way this works, if you're new, or even if you aren't, I'm going to read something. There will be a moment of silence where you can think about it, meditate on it. Jackson will then lead us out with some music, and then I will close with a spiritual mind treatment. And the question was asked of me yesterday at a group I was in, what is the difference between a treatment and a prayer? And I thought, well, that's an important thing to distinguish because treatments are kind of one of the bedrocks of our philosophy. So the basic difference, just so you know, between a treatment is a prayer, but we call it an affirmative prayer. And the basic difference between the two is a prayer, in effect, is reaching out to some other force, kind of asking for what it is that you want. You are, I don't want to say begging, but you're saying, please give this to me. And in a treatment, it's affirmative, meaning we don't go outside, we go inside because we believe that God, Divine Spirit, is within all of us. So we go inside in a structured manner where we walk through 5 steps, which I won't go through right now, but we go through this process to believe that what we want is already happening and we are manifesting it. So it's not a judgmental statement, but it's more of a declarative prayer than it is an asking prayer. So with that as background, in the grief group, a topic that has been coming up a lot is the state of the world, and I thought that I would write something with the help of Nova. Nova is my AI. I would write something that would hopefully inspire and remind us that there is good coming if it's not already here. So I titled this One Day. One day, this will be over. The struggle, the uncertainty, the weight you've been carrying for so long that you forgot what lightness feels like will disappear like the blizzards of winter vanish into the warm breath of spring. One day, you will look back and realize you made it through. It is now behind you. One day, the storm will pass. The skies will clear and the sun will return, not just to the world outside, but to the quiet corners of your heart. One day, you will step out from the shadows and remember what it's like to breathe deeply and free from fear. One day, the pain that feels endless will become your story of strength and resilience. The moments that shook you will become proof of your stamina and your desire to hold tightly on to what is right, true, and moral. The nights that felt impossible to survive will become the mornings you anticipate with eagerness. One day, you will laugh again without the dull, throbbing ache that always lies underneath. You will dance without the heaviness of confusion and grief. You will wake up and realize that joy isn't something distant. It's here, within reach, waiting for you to claim it. One day, the questions that haunt you will have answers, or maybe they won't, but they won't hold you back anymore. One day, you will stop searching for the way forward and realize you have been walking it all along. You will move forward boldly again with your head held high, unbowed, unbroken, and unrepentant. One day, the dream you're fighting for will become the life you're living. The hard work, the patience, the quiet hope, it will all be worth it. One day, you will stand in a place you once only imagined, and you'll wonder why you ever doubted yourself. One day, you'll see that you were never truly alone, surrounded by millions, united in love, a force that in all its forms was carrying you through even when you couldn't feel it. That every setback, every heartbreak, every detour was shaping you into someone unshakable. One day this will be over, and when that day comes, you will not just have survived, you will have risen. You will have found something deeper, something truer, and you will know beyond any doubt that you are capable of anything. That day is further off than you want, but it is not as distant as you fear. It will be here one day. God, please help make it sooner rather than later. And as I say this treatment in the first person, so each of us can hear it within our own voice, I am grateful for the understanding and the knowledge that I am not alone. I am not isolated. I am not powerless. I am part of an infinite, ever-expanding force with unlimited capabilities that responds to what I ask for and what I believe. And knowing that I possess that much power, it becomes up to me to decide where I direct it, and I choose to direct that force, that energy, that love in a direction that is benevolent to all, to everybody I meet, and to those I will never even touch, because I know that my thoughts are that powerful. And I know that collectively our thoughts are even more powerful, and that as we all affirm that the greatest good is happening at all times in every place, including at this moment, and knowing that I choose the date and the direction, and I choose now to feel joy. I choose now to believe that things are getting better. I choose now to celebrate this life. And I release these words into the law of mind, knowing that they have already been happening, and all I had to do was open my arms and embrace them and accept them. And for that, I am extremely grateful. And I say, as we all do, and so it is. Thank you, Jackson. We missed you last week. And now I'll introduce Reverend Angelica, who will give us our message.
Good morning, everyone, and good morning, Zoomers. It's good to be here this morning, definitely. I love this folder that I'm using. It says, "Make today amazing." That's my Sunday morning affirmation. Make today amazing. So my talk this morning is roadmaps and revelations. So in January, we started preparing for this journey, this spiritual journey that we're having this year. And today, as we conclude this month on mapping our path, we realize that this journey has structure, which is roadmaps, and insight, which is revelations. And so that's what I want to talk to you about this morning. So, at the beginning of the year, we do a vision board group, the first Saturday usually. And I tell people, don't necessarily think about what you want to create this year, but go to the magazines and start looking at pictures, and whatever makes you go, ooh, I like that one, take that, and then make your map. And so I looked last night at some of my past vision boards to see, when I did that, did I create that during that particular year? And yes, I did, and usually it was in a different way than I thought was going to happen. And sometimes there were even extra benefits to the year, that weren't on my map, but things that I really, really enjoyed. So we create these roadmaps with our intentions, our vision boards, or our plans, but true growth really comes when we stay open to revelations, when we stay open to those unexpected moments of insight and grace. I don't know about you, but I've had moments of insight cleaning the cat box, believe it or not. I mean, where else would a cat lady get it from, right? But it's amazing at how truth or insights or whatever you want to call it pops in at really unusual times. And with those insights, we realize that we have a certain power in the creation of our life. You know, Dr. Holmes says there's a power in the universe greater than you are, and you can use it. And for us, I want us to remember that we can delineate what we want to create this year and have it, written in pen and ink or pictures or whatever. But I want us to realize that we can also leave room for divine guidance. Opening ourselves up to letting the divine speak to us and show us the way. So then I started thinking that we might start with a map. I've been on road trips before where, you start with a map and you go, okay, this is where we're going, and you end up going somewhere different. Maybe because the passenger who was the map reader didn't read the map quite right. But usually there's fun things that you find, either a neat place to eat or, some piece of beautiful nature or whatever. But so we think we know the way, the journey, how it's supposed to turn out, etc. But allowing ourselves to discover the real treasures of this spiritual journey are the insights that we gain along the road. The journey transforms us. Like I've been saying the past few Sundays, by the time this year ends, we're going to be in a different place. We're going to be much higher in consciousness. We're going to be happier, maybe richer, maybe thinner. That's one of mine. Anyway. But Rumi says, as you start to walk on the way appears. So the job is to start moving toward it. And if I'm just going to sit at my kitchen table or my dining room, so to speak, table, and play on my laptop for 8 hours a day, that's not going to get me anywhere. Well, it might because I'm writing, but it's not going to get me somewhere as much as getting out of that chair, getting in my car, and going and visiting friends or going and seeing something I haven't seen before, doing something different. Have you noticed that when you allow yourself to do something different, that twists or shifts your energy a little bit as you're moving along this path? So I like doing new things. So when we're walking on this journey or still preparing for this journey, what I want you to realize is that there will be signs and synchronicities all along the way. Things that say, oh, go do this, or I had a phone conversation with somebody yesterday where I had just written down something, and they called and they wanted to talk about that something. Now that's a synchronicity, right? So, and another example would be is that someone sets out on a career path only to be redirected by what seems like random events. Yet in hindsight, it was absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect. Before I got into the working world, I had all these ideas during my flower child days of being, someone who was metaphysical, but I thought about it more in the terms of Wicca. So we had a moon group, we had all these kinds of things. I always gathered people around me. When I decide to do something, I got to have a bunch of people around me to do it. And what happens was I'm working at a job that I've been at for 17 years, and I'm the boss of my department, the data processing department, so it was cool. I liked it. And suddenly, with this playing in the realm of metaphysics and opening myself up to it, I discover Terry Cole Whitaker on TV. I mean, that was a real, it was Sunday morning, I made a cup of coffee, I decided to watch an old movie on TV. At that time, you didn't have a remote. I'm trying to do the remote. I got up from my chair and, I made my little nest and got the cats fed and everything. And I go over and I push the button on TV, and there's this lady all dressed in white, blonde hair, petite little thing, talking my language. A language that I didn't know I knew, but I did know it. And it was so astounding to me that I didn't make it back to that chair. I sat on the floor in front of the TV and watched this hour-long program. Well, that started me off. I then called my girlfriends and my friends and said, come over, I'll make breakfast on Sunday morning. We'll watch this lady named Terry Cole Whitaker. Wow, what a message she has. And we did that. And one day, the bottom of the TV says Terry Cole Whitaker is going to be speaking at Founders Church in Los Angeles. And so I try to get my friends, come on, let's go. Church? No way. So me, who didn't at that time do things by myself very often, got it dressed and got in the car and went to Founders Church. As I'm walking from the parking, they had a parking structure. That's how many people went to that church. As I'm walking from there to the church, there's a brass sign on the wall that says, what did it say? It didn't say Center for Spiritual Living. What were we then? Religious Science. It said Science of Mind Center. That's what it said. And I remember looking at that and thinking, down the hill from where my girlfriend lives is one of those churches. And we've been making fun of it for years. We see the sign and we see the message that the pastor's going to give on the board going do 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 do. I mean, we thought it was some weird thing. And I thought, my God, I've been living practically around the corner from one of these churches. Well, I ended up staying for 2 services because I couldn't get out of the parking lot, and 2, because it was when the first service, it was so crowded I had to sit in this other room and listen to it on speakers. And the second service, I was there already, so I got to sit in the sanctuary. But wow, what an amazing, powerful lady. And so I was on my career path already, and then this happens, and look where I am now. Right? This path has taken me places where I never thought I would go. I mean, I studied with Dr. Leo Fishbeck at the Glendale Church. And then I met Reverend Helen Street at a Selimar. And I said, I'm going to be a minister. And she said, where will your church be? And I said, I don't know yet, but it's going to be somewhere where there's mountains and there's water. She goes, you belong in Hawaii. I said, yeah, sure. But needless to say, I ended up in Hawaii because I also met a guy at a Selimar who lived in Hawaii and went to her church. 4 weeks, I moved. I quit my job, moved everything to Hawaii. 4 weeks later, realized I do not want to be with this person. And then I remember being so distraught because, gosh, I ruined my whole life and I moved here and, and then I realized, wait a minute. I was reading the Course in Miracles at the time, and I opened it to comfort myself, and basically, I don't remember exactly what it said, but what it said was, everything happens in the right and perfect time. You're in the right place. And I thought, right, I'm here to study with Helen Street. And so I did. And then I moved from there to the Big Island and started a church, which next year will be 40 years old. I mean, that number bothers me for some reason. 40 years ago, 39 years ago, but then we just turned 40 this year, or last year. So from there, I ended up going to Vancouver, British Columbia, and taking a church, starting a church in Langley, British Columbia, then moving to Baltimore, Maryland, and taking over a church there, and then moving here and being here. I'm not moving again. I'm done moving. What? That's what I was thinking as I was saying that, as we're here in the mountains with the water. Well, no wonder. So my whole path was redirected because I had an epiphany, so to speak, watching a little blonde lady on TV. So the next thing I want you to notice is that was about looking for signs, the signs and synchronicities. Now, what we have to do as we're walking our path is realize that when the map ends, we have to trust the unknown. That's when faith comes in. And Dr. Holmes says, to learn how to think is to learn how to live. To learn how to think is to learn how to live. When we think from faith and trust, we navigate even uncharted territories with confidence. I want to talk to you about maps just for a moment. I was watching the reels on Facebook, and I get to this one, or actually, I think Lori sent it to me. And it's a little woman with white hair, etc., and she's got this map spread out on the floor. And she actually, I believe it was 2 maps, but at one point, the United States was in the middle of the maps that were being made, our continent. And she then takes it apart and moves it over so that we're on the left-hand side. And somebody asked her, or in her conversation, she said that the reason why the maps were then drawn that way was so that the Catholic Church could show that they were all around the world. And I thought, wow, isn't that an interesting little fact? I mean, everything's being redirected or whatever. Everybody's doing it. You know, you've got your own story and you're telling a different one or changing the way it goes. You know, that's happening on a larger scale as well. But it just was really interesting to me. The reason why we have the maps that we have today was because the Catholic Church wanted to show that they were the main religion in the world. Now, I decided to go to a different religion for this morning because Ramadan will begin at the end of this week. And then it's a month-long Islamic holiday that lasts during this month, they have really regimented rules. I looked this up, Ramadan, online to see just what was it about. So it's the holy month in the Islamic faith. It's a time of spiritual reflection, discipline, and revelation. And it's observed by Muslims around the world through worship, prayer, and fasting. As I was looking online for things to talk about during this month, I discovered there is a site with every state in the United States listed, because during this holiday, you're supposed to say prayers at certain times of day, and it goes by when the sun comes up. So they have every state listed and the times when you do the morning, afternoon, and evening prayers, and they're all different. I thought, wow, that was interesting. I mean, this is really regimented, isn't it? However, so during Ramadan, one of the holiest nights is Laylatul Qadr, and I'm not sure I said that right. But what it's defined as, or translated as, is the night of power. This is believed to be when the first verses of the Quran were revealed to Prophet Muhammad. It's said that he would often retreat to the cave of Hira on Jabal al-Nur, which means mountain of light, near Mecca, seeking solitude and deeper understanding of life. Muhammad didn't have a clear roadmap for his future. He was a merchant, a husband, and a man of deep thought. Yet something within him called him to reflect and pray. He had no idea that during this time of quiet devotion would lead to revelation that would change the course of history. When the angel Gabriel appeared and told him to recite, Muhammad resisted, saying, "I'm not a reciter." Yet this moment marked the unfolding of his divine purpose. He did not plan to be a prophet. He was simply following his spiritual practices, his inner longing for connection. His roadmap was solitude and prayer. But the revelation was beyond what he could have possibly imagined. The start of Islam is marked in the year 610, following the first revelation to the prophet of Muhammad at the age of 40. Muhammad and his followers spread the teachings of Islam throughout the Arabian Peninsula, and now it's all around the world. Because a merchant, a husband, a father, spent time in prayer and meditation and had a revelation. There's now a religion that is one of the largest in the world. So you never know where your roadmap or your revelations are going to take you. So this is what I thought about as I was thinking about this story and my own life and others. We may know where we're going, but sometimes Spirit has a greater revelation for us. Like Muhammad in the cave, we have to prepare ourselves through spiritual practice, but the insight arrives in its own time. I'm not going to sit down and meditate today and have a big insight tomorrow. Well, I could, but normally it takes a longer period of time, and we don't know when that is. And just as that night of power was a night when the veils were thin and prayers are deeply heard, our own moments of revelation often come when we least expect them, when we are the most open to them. So just think for a moment, where in your life have you followed a path or a roadmap only to receive a greater revelation than you thought? Probably all of us have a moment, or 2 or 3 or 100. Who knows? But sometimes we don't think of it as being divine guidance or a revelation. So when I thought about this idea, what I thought for us, being practical, that we can balance planning with openness to revelation by 3 things. 1, set your intention. Create your roadmap. My roadmap is to keep getting conscious, to not let myself go to sleep. I do sleep every night now. I mean, asleep, yeah. The second one is stay present and listen. Stay present and listen. Now, to me, in staying present, that means doing my meditation every morning, doing my spiritual mind treatments or affirmative prayers every day. I do not feel right in my being if I don't do meditation in the morning. I've been doing it for a long time now. And the third one is trust when Spirit redirects you. Trust. Trust those insights that you might have. Sometimes, I think all of us have had insights that might have taken us down a different road, but we went, oh, nope, can't do that. Or nobody would like me if I did that. Or whatever we might have thought at the time. But who knows where you would have gone. A memory just flashed through when I moved to Honolulu to study with Helen Street. I needed a job, right? I had to pay my rent, etc. And I went to this, the man that I met at Sillamar lived at home with his mother. Didn't want to live there any longer. And they were in Kahala, which is the rich area of Honolulu. And so I went to this hotel because there was a jewelry store there that had a help wanted ad in the paper. And I walked in and I'm like, oh my God, look at all this jewelry. Oh, this is so beautiful. I mean, the store was absolutely gorgeous and they had really beautiful pieces. And I decided right then and there, I want to work here. So I fill out my application and I hand it to the owner of the shop, and he sits down, he goes, why do you want to work here? And I said, well, I'm studying for the ministry and I need a job. And this is your shop is absolutely beautiful, and I love jewelry. And he goes, you're studying for the ministry? And I said, yes. And he said, a phrase that I can't remember right now, but it's really important. It was something about how you can't follow two masters. And I said to him, what? And he goes, you have to follow your path. If that's the path you're being called to, you have to follow it, which means you'd probably only work here for a year or two. And I want somebody who wants to be here longer. But that idea, you can only follow one master. You can't follow two masters. I had to really think about that as I walked away really disappointed not getting that job. Though I did end up getting a job with an accountant, which was related to the job I had had in Glendale, that was the most fun job because he was never there. The only time we really worked was during tax season. The rest of the time, he let me use the computer for doing my schoolwork, etc. It was wonderful. But anyway, so on this journey that we're on now, set your intentions. Allow yourself to decide, what do I want to be? Who do I want to be by the end of this year? And then let that go and be open and receptive to whatever the divine has for you. What I know about this is that the divine always has things worked out way better than we possibly could have ever imagined. And why not go for the ride? What fun. Set an intention, stay present and listen, and trust when Spirit redirects you. And let's go into prayer. Gratefully, I acknowledge that there is an infinite intelligence that is in, through, and as all things. This intelligence is the source and substance of absolutely everything, not only material things, but mental things and emotional things and everything. There is no spot where God is not. And so I know for each one of us today that whether we think we're already done with our path and we're just here to cruise, or whether we're still ready to grow, I know that we're growing anyway. We're always going to be growing. So I declare that we're growing in consciousness in a way that is beneficial not only for us and our friends and family, but for the world. I know that there comes over us a feeling of being peaceful, a feeling of compassion, a willingness to be kind, to serve in whatever way we can serve. I know that Spirit leads us to the right and perfect place at all times. Spirit is us, and so it knows already what the next thing it wants to experience as us is. And so we celebrate this. We celebrate this conscious awareness that we can set our guidelines, set our roadmap, and then relax and allow ourselves to let Spirit be the driver. And I know for each one of us that whatever challenges we're facing right now, that this too is an opportunity to experience the divine in more ways than we could possibly imagine. So I know for each one of us that we have health, we have wealth, we have creativity, we have good relationships. And we recognize that in every face we look, there is the face of God. And it is good, very good. And so I celebrate us knowing these things. I celebrate us activating this within ourselves. I celebrate spirit, because that's all there is. And so it is. And Donna is our guest musician this morning, so let's give her a hand.
So a little about a week ago, I was at an event down at the courthouse. Saw Scott there. Saw Vicki and Victoria there. And this friend came up. It was a little man who was playing the banjo in front of the courthouse. And a lady busted through the crowd and she goes, "Dawn, you gotta have this song. Do you know this song?" I go, "No." It's called Lead with Love. It was written by Melanie DeMore. She has some great stuff out. So I took it home, and I went online, I found it, and I went, "Oh, that's exactly what we're doing, mapping our path, lead with love." There's a part in this song, it's called call response. When I do this, Anna will be doing the response as well. When I do that, I'll try to articulate so you can hear what I'm saying. Can I have the key chord? You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Don't give up hope. You're not alone. You're not alone. Don't you give up. Don't you give up. Keep moving on. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead your love. Lift up your eyes. Don't look despaired. Look up ahead. The path is there. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. I know you're scared. Maybe I'm scared too. But here I am, right next to you. So you gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Don't give up hope. You're not alone. Don't you give up. Keep moving on. So you put that one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in the other and lead with love. Yeah.
Man, that was a great song. Let's do that one every week. All right, I'm going to make some executive decisions. There we go. All right. Okay. So let me get our next slide up here. It's now time for sharing our gifts, and I see that our ushers are up and at the ready. So if you'll join me. I gratefully give from the fullness of my abundance, knowing my gift blesses this center, all in it and beyond. And so it is. On behalf of the center, I gratefully receive these gifts, these investments in our community, in our larger community, in the world, so that we may thrive and continue to expand and grow. And so we say together, and so it is. Thank you. So I don't want to make this all about me, but that's the first time I've prayed in front of people other than Grace at Thanksgiving. So my heart is beating like a big brass band, and woo, we made it through. Yeah, okay. So at this point, I need to ask for a volunteer. Who would like to come up and read our statement of inclusion? Anyone? Anyone? Kathy, please.
This is one of my favorite things that we say. I just love this way it's said, and I guess sometime I'd like to talk to the people that gathered and made it, because I would love to hear more about the process, but it was really good. We, the Eureka Center for Spiritual Living, are a community that celebrates diversity, fosters inclusion, champions inner work, and creates space for brave, vulnerable conversations. We are a community that honors the unique emanation of God that each person embodies and advocates with people for human rights and dignity for all. We are a community that blesses each other, sees sacredness in all life, remains learners and listeners so that we may grow together, and understands that oneness is not sameness. We know our beloved community is revealed more fully when we love each other well.
Well done. Thank you.
You want to see if we have time for a demonstration?
Oh, Madame,
All right.
on the script.
Do we have time for demonstrations today?
Sure.
All right. I'm going without direction. Is there anyone who would like to share a recent demonstration from their life? If you don't know what these are, we have maybe something that's long held, maybe something that's new, but it is something that we've wanted in our life, that we have tried to manifest, and it has come to fruition. And they can be big, like your mortgage getting paid off with unexpected income, or they can be small but no less important, like the long-awaited delivery of TP showing up on the very last day that you could not spare a square. So I saw a hand. Please, come on up.
Must have been the TP.
Hello, I'm Bev. December 31st of the past year, in the afternoon at 1:30, I was in a car accident and totaled my dear sweet old Honda that I had had since 2000. Anyway, the car was wonderful to me and I enjoyed it. No one got injured, either myself or the other party driving. The accident was not my fault. And when I went to leave, I called a friend who stopped by, handed me her car keys and said, use this until you find another vehicle. I have other transportation. I was like, whoa, okay. Drove myself home and sat there and just kind of vibrated for a while. Anyway, that evening when I went to go to sleep, I sat on the edge of my bed, getting ready to go to sleep. I had this wonderful feeling, and I said to myself, in fact, I said it out loud, I said, this is going to be a smooth, this is going to be a very easy, in-the-flow transition, and things are just going to come to fruition. That was on a Tuesday. On Sunday, or actually Saturday night, I made sure that I got up to come into the center because I felt it was important to let other friends know I was okay and put the word out that I needed a vehicle. That day, I ran into our dear Claudia. She was the second person I talked to, and she held my hand and she said, Bev, I have to quit driving, and I have a beautiful vehicle. Last week, I finished all the paperwork, everything, the car is mine. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, I got $5,800 from my old Honda that was totaled. And over COVID, I had stashed $5,000 in cash in my house, and I hadn't even thought about it until it came up. So here I am, $10,000 some dollars towards a car. I had absolutely, it was amazing. Anyway, it happened perfect. I couldn't ask for it. In fact, it was way more than what I expected.
Yay.
Thank you so much, Bev. And so now if you'll join us, we're not going to make a circle today because we want to be able to see the words and hopefully less up on the screen, but we're going to do Les's song to close, All the Colors of the Rainbow. Donna?
Thank you.
And it'll be a new song next week.
Yes. We'll be starting a new song next week, several new songs actually.
All the colors of the rainbow, they are light, they are light. And all the people like the rainbow, we are one. One more time, let me hear you sing it. All the colors of the rainbow, they are light, they are light. And all the people like the rainbow, they are love. makes us whole, and love is who we are. And all the colors of the rainbow, they are light, they are light. And all the people like the rainbow, they are love. One more time, let me hear you sing it. All the colors of the rainbow, they are light, they are light. And all the people like the rainbow, we are one.
Oh, right there. It's hard to collect it, but it is. Oh, this is so nice. You did a great job.
On your hands, I'm like, are those notes? Because people don't get tattoos.
No.